Welcome to the Two Michaels podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Michael Bloom, and I'm Michael Simkin. Mr. Bloom is live from Tel Aviv, and I'm live from my son's bedroom. We're here today with Alex Sternick, who is a famous humor, drama, and paradoxical coaching person, therapist. Hello, Alex.
Hi, namaste. How is everything?
Peachy creamy, more or less.
You are being interviewed, Alex. So how are you today?
Now is my best moment, as there is no any other moment. This is the only moment we have. The past is a history and the future is a mystery. What has been left, the present, which is a gift.
Wow.
Too long.
Did you make that up now?
No. It's actually one of the answers I like to answer while being asked.
So that comes from the past?
It comes from the past. I learned it from my very good friend, the comedian Lenny Ravitz. And now it makes more sense. The sense behind the nonsense.
Why does it make more sense now?
Because I understand deeper the power of the now. I understand deeper what it means. When I stop up the chattering of the mind, but completely stopping, not by just deciding, but by doing something. So everything is good. There is no need to complain about the future.
The power of now.
The fears are evaporated.
Yeah.
Anxiety.
Quite interesting. I mean, I must say I'm not very successful at quieting down the chatter of the mind. I find it almost impossible. So I'm wondering, how do you actually do that?
Actually, I'm doing it through the breathings and through the sitting in the ice water in the cold plunge, and it really shuts my mind down 127.8%. So we have the gibberish part. It's the work I'm doing, but also we have this really, like, you go straightly to the cold. You know, you cannot sit in the cold this freezer and think about your economical problems in the future. Not possible. You have to go back to the body, and then there is just this gap. There is no mind in there, no turbulence.
So, Alex, an ice bath isn't always available. So how to calm the mind when there is no ice bath?
So I do it with the breathings in the morning. While I'm doing these deep breathings of Wim Hof, the mind just calms down. You have no other choice. And you don't need to persevere it just becomes a byproduct of it.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy the Wim Hof breathing as well. And while the breathing exercise is going on, sure, there's no room for anything else. But what about afterwards?
There is an afterwards effect, because then you are filled with serotonin, very high levels, dopamine, amazing levels. So you're already positive for the rest of the day. And if you want to add another training, another practice during the day, I usually do twice a day. Mm-hmm. Usually one in the evening, one in the morning. 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm already doing the breathings. As I do more rounds, then the effect is better and longer.
Okay. So
and then you understand what is the meaning of shutting down the mind, okay? And also what is the meaning of being happy for no reason, but being happy for no reason, you know? That your happiness is not conditioned to the external circumstances.
Yeah. I think it was Alan Watts said something along the lines of, if you've got ripples in water, try to smooth them out with your hand and see what happens. So obviously you can't. So the only thing we can do is some other activity that by and by allows our mind to be calm. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah. It's, you know, it's very, very easy to stop the mind. It's much more easy than we have been thinking, you know. But now we have all the evidence how much it's easy. There is no need anymore to sit 10 years of meditations. or 20 years of Vipassana. There is no need for that. Just go fucking frozen water, and in one day you made a big change like many meditators of 10 years have not achieved, you know? Just one sitting in a cold plunge.
What happens, let's say...
One time!
Yeah, what happens if you haven't had sex for 3 months?
If you haven't had sex?
for a few months. I know in myself that the energy builds and builds and builds, and it's a part of me that's looking for expression. And if I don't listen to it, it tends to get bigger.
You have to give it a full room. You have to see how to play with it. You know, it's all about if you have any stress is accumulating. You have to go to the stress voluntarily, exaggerate and maximize it, and be it fully, and then make friendship with it. That's the idea of the ice water. That's the idea of my work in humor drama. It's the same thing. You go to your stressor, you go to the thing which disturbs you, and you want to meet it, but now you do it consciously. And if you do it consciously, you make it bigger even than it really is. Then you are the captain.
Okay, I'd like to understand this a little bit.
You want to experience your misery of not having sex. You want to be there. You wishfully want it to happen more.
So help me with this so I can better understand it. Let's say I'm thinking about it and I understand, this is taking me away from presence. How do I go there consciously? Take me through it step by step.
So let's say if a person with this problem will come on stage in my courses, so I will ask him to feel the sensation and try through the mind to exaggerate it, to let it flow on you, flood you, to feel it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then also to act it out through the body, a big posture, how it feels. But you must always think of, I'm going to make it bigger. As you make it bigger through your body posture, you caricaturize it. Okay. You go on self-caricature. And when you do a self-caricature, you are already not the victim of this situation, but the victor. You are the captain. You are the owner of it. And then it will stop disturbing you. Okay.
So can you explain the mechanics, the mechanics behind it? So if I have something stressful that I'm stressing about, then I go and I expand it and I inflate it and I go into it and I let it consume me. And why is that a good thing? How does that actually heal it?
Yeah, because when you do that consciously, you actually act as a joker and as a fool. Instead of hiding it, or covering it up, or fighting it through different means, you say, no, I want to go and be there consciously. And while you're doing this, you actually develop a gap, a distance, a gap. And in that gap, you are playing. There is no thinking, because you are the one who do it consciously. You're the one who exaggerate it. You're the one who maximize it. It means that you are owning it. It's not that there is a stressor which has been imposed on you. This thing is called today positive stress or eustress. As Wim Hof says, it's whether you come to the cold or the cold is coming to you. It's whether you come to the distress or the distress is coming to you. It's whether you come to the disease or the disease is coming to you and killing you. So if you go there consciously, if you go to all your stressors consciously, if you go to the cold, you sit in the cold because the cold is your enemy, then the enemy becomes your best ally. It works like this. I don't know why, but it works like that. If you try to fight the enemy becomes bigger. If you try to cover it up with marijuana, the enemy becomes much, much, much bigger, etc. If you go there playfully, it's better to go there playfully also, to laugh about it. This is what we do in humor drama. But there are also other techniques which bypass the story, like the ice, and can cure many years of traumas. And I totally favoring it.
You mentioned humor drama.
That's my work. Yeah.
What is that?
Humor drama, it's actually a kind of intervention which has been influenced by the teachings of Dr. Viktor Frankl, who was a Jewish psychiatrist from Vienna, who survived the Holocaust, who wrote the book The Man Search for Meaning, who always capitalized the idea of meaning. So Viktor Frankl, in his work, was talking about exaggerations of the things that you are fearful of them. If you have a fear, you are afraid that something is going to happen to you in the future, so you have to imagine it, maximize it, capitalize it, inflate it, make it bigger, and also wish to this tragedy to happen to you. But he was very cognitive. He was giving suggestions to people what to do tomorrow. If you are afraid of talking in front of public because you are sweating here, so imagine you come tomorrow on stage and you're going to sweat 10 liters of water from the right armpit and 20 from the left, and you try and then you play with it. But in humor drama, a person actually does the same, but he comes on stage. He comes on stage and then he does it. For example, a person will come on stage with a story associated with shame or guilt or rejection. And on one hand, he will try to tell the story and justify the story. I mean, he has his belief system. Maybe this belief system is not serving him, but he comes and justifies it. And justifies it, exaggerating it by justifying, maximizing it, and blaming whatever needed to be blamed for his bad feeling. But then on the other hand, to create the distance and the gap from the story, so you're not mixed anymore, I will bring him a glass of water. So he was talking on his shame thing, but gargling water in his mouth, and then he becomes messy. The water he's spitting it on the floor. He swallows it. He also makes his t-shirt wet, and then he starts to laugh out of it. But together with that, he goes with his old belief system. So the water creates the distance. The water creates the distance, the gap, the self-ridiculement, the self-humor. And then the person accepts himself with the shame he has, with the guilt he has unconditionally. That's humor drama, okay? So it's not about laughing on it, it's about giving it a full room, very full room, but on the other hand also to play with that shame, to play with that rejection, to play with that fear, to show it off to the audience. Look, I have this thing I'm carrying it, but now I want to own it also, not to let it being imposed on me. Then I'm a victim.
Yeah,
okay?
It reminds
we
me.
We always create a distance and a gap from the situations, and there are various techniques. Wim Hof is one technique. Humor drama is the other technique. Yamima method is the third technique. There are various techniques. The essence is one.
It reminds me, the humor drama, when somebody said once, I heard it somewhere, that if, for example, if you are picked on, let's say you have a big nose, and somebody says to you, you have a big nose. So if you were to make a joke out of it and say, yeah, actually I could dig holes in the ground with my nose. I love it. It's really helpful. Or something else. Yeah, man, it's terrible. Whenever I meet women, the first thing they say is, ooh, what a big nose. And then I say to them, da, da, da. So then you kind of control the situation, and that person then becomes beneath you and doesn't, and will never try to insult you again about your nose.
This is the role of the fool and the joker who always controls the show. If you say to a joker or a fool, you are a fucking idiot, the joker will say, I'm the biggest idiot on earth. And then he's the one who controls, and the other guy cannot,
Exactly.
he steps back. It works like this.
Yeah.
That's actually also this anger management, conflict management on individual level.
What do you mean?
When you actually agree with your opponent, instead of coming to a fight, you agree.
And
Yes, it's like in judo. It's the same as it works in judo. You use the power of your opponent. You don't fight with him, but you use it. You take his. You agree with him, and it works like this. And it's
on
a
another level.
paradoxical. It's a paradoxical thinking. It's a paradoxical attitude based on wisdom of fools. Of the
Seems clear.
tricksters.
Simkin, seems quite clear to me that this issue.
Yes, and on a deeper level, there is no other. So there is only the illusion of the other. There is no enemy. And it's the same thing with these different.
Resides within. Yeah.
And there are these. I didn't previously see any connection between the work you do with Wim Hof and the humor drama, but as you were talking,
it's the same. It's positive stress, stress. It's the same. I also didn't see the connection before I started with the cold plunges 2 years back, but now I see clearly the connection. The technique is different. Because Wim Hof method also works on the cardiovascular system and vasodilation and different hormones and neurotransmitters that you secrete, etc. But the essence of going to meet your enemy at your will, at your willful control, and you become the master, the captain. It's the same in humor drama. It's the same in Wim Hof.
Yeah, it's also there's this element. There's the element of exaggeration is also there in both for sort of causing a recalibration.
There is the element of exaggeration and maximization, and you really want to be there. So also another element of surrendering before the enemy. And when it's like you go to the sea, which has a lot of turmoil. The sea is, many waves. I don't know how to explain.
Yeah.
And then instead of fighting the waves, you just surrender. And in the end, the waves will expel you out. Surrendering. What we call in Hebrew, hitmasrut. Okay? Yes, when the people of Israel, metaphorically, they left Egypt, and Egypt is the encagement, the Meitzarim in Hebrew, the cage, and they went to Eretz Canaan, which is the Leichana, to surrender. Canaan, let's surrender. This is not the real Eretz Canaan, the place, but to Leichana instead of fighting. It's the same.
Letting go. Right, I know we've spoken about so many different stresses, this stress and that stress. Simkin, I'm wondering, do we actually know what is stress?
Well, so I think let's put that question to Alex.
Perfect idea.
So I guess stress is always about something where we feel discomfort. And then we want to go back to our comfort. Because when we are in our full comfort, we are nice. Everything is fine. But then there is some kind of distress. It can be a physical distress like cold or heat. People, they run away from the cold. They put many jackets, jumpers, maybe some hat, socks. They don't want to be exposed to the stressor. If it's a heat, we will put the AC. We want to feel nicer, more relaxed. And this is on physical level. Hunger as well. Then we want to shut down the hunger with eating too fast. Yes? What we call to distinguish the fire without being in the stress, without sitting within the fire. And then there are bigger stresses like war, like economical anxiety, which I think most of us have some economical anxiety, even sometimes it's not really real, not objective. There are many stressors where we feel this fear, this thing is going to happen to me, and that thing, and the war, and I'm going to lose something, the fear of loss to lose someone or something. It's a big anxiety, it's a big stress. The stress of work, emotional stress of, I have too much work to do, I don't know how to suffice it in time. Yeah, so a lot of stress, work-based stress, and all of these things are resulted in secretion of this fight or flight hormones called cortisol. Cortisol comes from the kidneys, and it actually weakens our immune capacity, immune system. It weakens. And we have less white blood cells because of that. We have bigger, we develop a high blood pressure because of that, adrenaline as well. So actually, it's a fake thing. Why? Because it's not a real danger. It's not like the zebra is sensing the lion is going to eat her, so she runs away out of him, because her body produces this cortisol, and the cortisol gives her temporarily ability to run better. She runs faster than normally. The sympathetic system is very active. You have cortisol. The cortisol gives you this power to run faster. But then when she's far from the lion, she comes back to the parasympathetic system. But the human beings always in that fight or flight mindset. It means sympathetic system is too active, too much cortisol in the blood, too much glucose in the blood, very high blood pressure. And in the end, it's very, very not objective stress. It's a fake one. We make all in our mind. It all comes because our turbulent mind, too much thinking, chattering. And later on, it also may lead to different mental and emotional disturbances. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Depression. And of course, also depression, we have to define what is depression, because most of us, we have the depression on the lower spectrum, which enables anyone to function very well with the depression. But sometimes it goes bigger and bigger till the major one. Then there is also psychosis and all that. All of those things can be actually avoided through the breathing and through the cold.
Yeah.
Very, very easy.
It's exactly what I wanted to ask you. So I've heard everything you said. You're describing things that are quite known, yeah. And I'm wondering, there's so many people out there who offer different treatments to these common problems, stress, etc. So who comes to you? What kind of people come to you with what kind of problems, and how do you sort out these problems for them? How do you heal them from these very common
Actually,
problems?
I cannot really heal them, but I can show them the way how to work on self-acceptance. I work a lot with people with cancer.
Okay.
Because usually people with cancer are having also depression. People with fibromyalgia, also they have depression. And people who have depression, they come to me because they want to have some laughter and some humor. Even they don't know that I'm not doing laughter yoga anymore, but they're researching me for laughter yoga. And then when they come, we do something else. But everybody who comes to me, whether he has a cancer or has a fibromyalgia or has a mania depression, of course, I will not work with someone with mania depression, which is too active. It should be already, finished. I mean, half finished, or depression. But we will always work on qualities like shame, like guilt, like fears, to give it a full room, okay? So the people can, to accept themselves unconditionally. We have a big problem here of lack of self-acceptance. I have something, and then I hate it in myself, and I hate myself, and of course, by hating myself, I cannot solve it. And if it would work, so it was great. But I hate myself. I fight the thing I have in myself, which I dislike, and it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. So I do the opposite. Opposite. Let's accept it. Yeah, in paradoxical coaching and humor drama, the coach works as a diabolo advocatus, the devil's advocate of his protagonist, his client. He's not trying to fix or to offer solutions, but he tries to align with him through his mindset first. And only when the coach understands really and agrees with him, with his protagonist, then the protagonist will accept himself. Otherwise, there is a conflict between two authorities: a therapist or a coach and the protagonist. Yeah. So only if there is a full agreement, okay, you have this shame. I agree with you. I agree with all the reasons you bring to your guilt or shame or the fear or the rejection. But now let's play with it. Let's make it bigger together. Okay? So anyone who come to me, we work on that. Yeah? I prefer to work on the personal things rather than make 20 gibberish exercise. This we can do, it's good. It's amazing, but also let's touch personal. Let's touch your own weakness and play with it.
What about pain?
Charlie, just a moment. Charlie Chaplin once said that to truly laugh, one should be able to take his pain and play with it. It's very important to play with your tragedy, to play with it. And in order to play, you have to make it bigger. So yes, I work a lot with cancer. I'm very interested in cancer because I truly believe that cancer can be cured. But it's again the attitude of brain over body, mind over matter. Not only cancer, anything can be cured if there is a strong determination. The old world saying cannot be cured. You have to go to an authority. They will cure you. But we see, you go in the מחלקה פנימית in hospitals, what you see, people only dying. או פנימית ג'. You don't see healing in hospitals.
Yeah, so not everyone speaks Hebrew, so would you?
Yeah, we should take the captainship and the ownership to ourselves, because otherwise we are taken by someone else. And it's not working. It may help a little bit sometimes, but what comes next?
Yeah, I want to ask you a little bit more about pain, because it seems that often it's repressed, and and that's why this work is so important, kind of to allow ourselves to feel it again.
Yes, by allowing us to feel the pain again and going to the fear consciously. So pain is an emotion. And emotion, if I give it a full room, it comes and it passes away. It rises. Emotion, it's a word composed of two different words, exit and motion. To exit from one motion to the next. So if you feel your pain consciously and you let it happen, the pain is going to disappear one day and a different emotion will come. It won't be painful anymore. But if you try to fight the pain, it means that the pain is not given a full room. So it becomes bigger and it will prolong longer. Okay? Emotion is to exit from one motion to the next. And also in if we see the archetype of a joker, of a fool, the joker, the fool, the trickster, simply is very happy because he's not panicked between the discomfortable emotion. He's not panicked by it. We are panicked by depression. That's why we want to kill the depression. We are panicked by cancer. Then we immediately do chemotherapy and radiation without even taking a distance. The panicking is the problem, is not the pain. The panicking of the pain, the panicking of the depression, that's the real problem. And when we stop the panicking, we create this gap, the mental gap, what we, Viktor Frankl, have been talking about, to have this gap. And in that gap, you really can choose a better choice for yourself. So emotion, to exit from one motion to other motion. It means that you are equanimous while experience different emotions. You don't want to distinguish the fire, and because of that you are happy. In happiness, you are experiment with all emotions on the spectrum, equanimously, and let it go. You don't fight. Otherwise, you repress it, you panic, it becomes longer, and it owns you,
How does this relate to trauma?
Yeah, there are many our stressors or our behavior patterns are related to different childhood traumas. Okay, and then the trauma is controlling it. and we are controlled by our trauma. We are behaving as we behave due to different traumas that we have not given it a full room. So for some people who it will be hard for them to do things like humor drama, for example, on traumas. So it's very, very important to do the work by bypassing the intellect, not talking about the trauma, but the sitting in the cold plunge in the ice freezer also does the brain rewiring. It rewires the brain, the neurons. So all these affected places in the brain by the trauma are rewired again, restructured again, and then the trauma is evaporating without a person talking about it. That's beautiful. And this also comes with the breathings. So this is what we want, okay? And then you see with the year, you do that work, and you see naturally you have more distance. You don't need to react immediately if somebody insults you and you want to insult back. You become more in distance naturally without working on that, without making an effort. It becomes effortless. It's all about being in your center and always creating a distance between you and between what happens around you. Not being mixed up. Because you are mixed up, the other guy is mixed up, and then it's a vicious circle. And in the end, you're both getting tired or getting an illness.
I must admit, sorry?
No, go. You say, Michael.
I must admit I'm a bit confused as to what exactly Alex does. I mean, so basically you teach people about all this stuff that you're telling us about. You write about it. Do you actually use it in your daily life in some way? Do people pay you to actually come to sessions?
Yes. Good question. So when I go to teach in Europe, like 3-4 times a year, so I'm invited to give like 4 days masterclass and coaching, masterclass and certification training. In this training, we are learning about the concept of gibberish improvisation, because I work a lot about improvisation. We use gibberish as a technique to help people to play on stage, to improvise theater, drama, different games and exercises. And every exercise and every installation has a value to life. And the idea of gibberish used through these different theater exercises is that the people can play authentically, fluently, be more creative, and also there is no fear of what shall I say next. Okay, so we actually bypass this problem because in gibberish you can say anything. Now, in that courses we work on fear, we work on shame, we work on rejection, we work on violence even, or being bullied by someone or bully someone. We work on non-destructive, destruction, non-destructive aggressiveness, amazing topic. And we do different kind of exercises. We work on status, okay? All this is done through gibberish or Zen improv.
Could we try one now?
We will do. In the other 50% of the training, I will do humor, drama, and paradoxical coaching, where a person, we have 6, 7, 8, up to 12 students. A person comes on stage and works on his own fear or rejection, or I don't know, if he wants to repay back to someone who insulted him in the past, or I don't know, just ramas his kavod, I don't know how to say, just destroy his help me, respect, whatever, to give it a full room, to repay back to the person, to revenge him, but playfully. We do all those things. So it's a training. I teach 32, 34 hours in 4 days. So people are coming, yes, paying, of course, because that's my work. And I usually work with people coming from the laughter yoga, because actually I was born, I came from laughter yoga. My first gateway was laughter yoga. Then I went deeper. 2003, I discovered laughter yoga in India 20 years back. 2004, I brought it to Israel, right? Then the gibberish came, and then it was a gradual התפתחות, no?
Development.
So you see, 20 years of working, going from a very superficial thing where you just try to laugh, but not really go into the essence. Fake laughing, yes. In the beginning it works, and then you understand gradually that, let's touch the pain, let's touch the sadness, let's be sad consciously. So there is a training. I'm giving lectures also. In the lectures, I can speak about things I'm speaking with you, different topics. I do one-to-one. People come to me, of course, to my home, we do. And I do also for companies. Companies doesn't need much therapy. I mean, at least because they want to have fun. Everybody needs. But with companies, I do team building and stress management sessions of 3 hours, 4 hours. So I'm not a theoretician. So of course, I also write about it, but I'm not a theoretician. Not at all.
Simkin, you suggested something just now, but it seems to have been ignored.
I really want to when Simkin asked me yesterday about doing something practically here, and I thought, because we were talking about eustress and about being consciously in the discomfort, because when you go consciously to any discomfort, the discomfort becomes comfortable as time is passing. Like with the cold, you sit in the cold, the first 1 minute, you're in the survival mindset. Yes, you have to relax, and then after 2 minutes, you're in Eretz Canaan, in the land of Canaan. I want to take the same concept and to do it with gibberish. Now, because, when I teach gibberish improvisation, many people are stuck around one word.
Mm-hmm.
The gibberish brings already the discomfort level very high. Because, why shall I speak illogical? Why shall I speak nonsensical? I always want to understand things. I also want to understand everything with my intellect, with this left brain. I want to understand why this happening to me, and why this happened, what is going to happen, and why you are talking to me like this. And it's always about the why. And then you have a language where you are allowed to say anything, because anything goes, like in real life. And it brings people to so much discomfort. So then, out of the fear and the anxiety, how should they shall express themselves? Then their gibberish sounds very, very peculiar and not authentic, because of
What's
the fear.
gibberish?
A language where the words have no meaning.
I never heard gibberish. Have you ever heard gibberish, Michael Simkin? Do you know what it is? Can you give me an idea what it is? That sounds like Dutch.
Oh, so here it comes. Michael didn't want to fabricate Dutch. He didn't make an effort. He just came out, because Michael sits he feels very well with the gibberish. He doesn't need to go beyond his threshold.
Let's check it. Michael Simkin, can you do another gibberish? A different
This one, yeah. This one is the opposite. This one.
That's German.
Here,
Amazing.
Michael tries to act out something. Yeah, but what I want to do is to let people to sit quietly in the discomfort through the gibberish.
Which discomfort specifically?
The discomfort of talking in a language which is unintelligible.
Well, I could share that I wouldn't do what Simkin just did. I'm embarrassed. I'm actually embarrassed, not about doing gibberish, but that my gibberish won't come out gibberishic enough,
Exactly.
gibberishish enough, and I might, and then people might laugh at me and say, "Look, he can't even speak gibberish properly. He's a complete idiot."
But let's come. So this is what happens in many
See what I mean?
In many workshops. This is what happens in many workshops because people are not willing to meet their discomfort. They are not willing to sit quietly next to the fire. The fire is burning. They want to kill it. They want to distinguish the fire. It's not nice. It's discomfort. I'm always seeking for comfort and for reason. Now, so what we do in the training, so people will stand up and I will say, now let's do what we call in English, follow the leader, or in Hebrew, we call it Herzl Amar. I'm going to repeat a word in gibberish. And you are just going to copy me. And I start, Bruki Frucht. And all are answering. Braksto.
Braksto.
Nadja Gulsha.
Nadja Gulsha.
Erpur Kfurch Knext.
Erpur Frich Krekst.
Bruki Vikulch.
Briki Vikurch.
Brake Feremensu.
Brake Feremensu.
Brake Vikufure.
Brake Fekekrude.
And etc. and etc. Then the people already get some
Feels
power,
amazing. Feels
get
amazing.
some courage to be in that discomfort, to choose to feel it. Now we are going to the next exercise where I divide the group into pairs. And the idea is not to hurry up while being in discomfort. It means I want to create a language which will resemble or which will be sound like some language which does exist somewhere. So if me and my partner are walking in the street, we speak the gibberish, we feel comfort while doing that, and we will not be in fear that the people will try to hospitalize it, the passers-by. So it should be sound normal language. And this is done only by doing gibberish slow, not by hurrying up. So for example, I want people to speak gibberish in a very slow way. So every word is a word and not this one. This is running away from the problem. This is children's gibberish. But something like very, very slow or medium, slow to medium. And even I can like think on it. Think while doing gibberish. Ide kruk forik shar. Je brikse meri vin to kur fochten. Adje plaik she feruk shaif in a kento fox. En dure fike mere vantes duk she barki vint. Onte pre kafane kensem. Die stasse petische kor fi ganses nuksha. Alle furk. En dokse marks. Tjude venne mene finikinses duk schufacht. Dur fochente murksho. So here, nobody will ever guess what is the language. People will throw different assumptions.
Finnish.
Maybe German, maybe Finnish. But they will never guess it's gibberish because it doesn't sound like gibberish. If it was sounded like gibberish, everybody would say, "Oh, he speaks gibberish. He's a fool. He's a man." Yeah, because it sounds. But I want to go to your to meet your seriousness. Let's meet our seriousness, beat it up, make it bigger. Then we can accept ourselves also as serious. Being serious and talking gibberish, it's an amazing combination. Because you exaggerate the seriousness and then you break it in the end with the gibberish. So you're the captain. You laugh inside yourself.
So it's all about being the captain and being in control?
Yeah. It's all about, we are going back to Viktor Frankl. In every given set of circumstances, you have two choices, whether to be the victim of the circumstances or being the sailor, being the captain. Be the captain. In every given set of circumstances, free choice. You have the freedom of choice to choose your attitude. What attitude will benefit you? The other attitude, you are the victim. We are going in the end back to Frankl. Freedom of choice. You always have a freedom of choice. Also in terminal situations.
Yes.
And the gibberish allows you this gap. The gibberish also allows you this gap to take the right choice. Because while we do gibberish, while we do different gibberish exercises, there is no time for the mind to chatter. We relax the mind. This is what happens. We relax the mind. And when our mind is relaxed and not too active, then we can see things more clearly. Yeah. Listen to that. Any choice driven by fear, driven by panic, driven by anxiety is a wrong choice. But any choice will be a wrong choice. Any choice.
Stop banging the table because it makes the laptop screen move.
Good. You know, sometimes you need to take a very long distance. Sometimes it's a physical distance also, like fly to any other country, for example, in order to choose the right choice for yourself. Any choice a person does out of emergency and not out of emerge and see is a wrong choice. 178%. And this is what we do here in Israel. We always want now to choose now, decide now. The decision will be wrong. It's out of panic. How much it costs? You give a wrong price quote to your customer. You should know how to take the faculty of distance and time.
Interesting.
We say in Hebrew, yesh harbe zman bazman. There is always plenty of time within the time. No need to rush. But we need to train how to do that. It's easier said than done. Because of that, we do ice water immersion, we do breathings, we do gibberishing, we do jogging, we do trekking, everything where your mind can be a little bit stopped, relaxed. And from there, it's not emergency, it's emerge and see. Emerge and see means taking a distance to see on something from above. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, the emergency, ambulance. Fierce. Yeah.
We're often going too fast.
Too fast. We are often going too fast. Yeah. And then the choices are the wrong ones. This is what happens with people coming to doctors, medical doctors, and the doctor tell them you have to do this therapy and that surgery. The person is panicked, and he thinks he's incapacitated, and he agrees, and then he is very sorry about his choices. This is what happens a lot, because the person didn't give himself a full time, this incubation time to decide what is good, what is not good. And then when you choose something, do it with a holy heart, lev shalem, full. You have to say
full heart.
Full heart, not out of squeezed, shrunk heart. When you choose something out of shrunk heart and come on, and then you are sorry about it.
What about the security banana?
Yeah. So actually, my first workshop I gave in Europe was in 2009, gibberish improvisation, 3 hours, and it was hosted in a place called Humor Church.
Wow.
Humor Church, and the guy who owned the Humor Church, Michael Berger, also owned the Humor Museum. So he's a rebel, a Dadaist, an anarchist, very, very rich person, German, art collector and sculpturer. And he was the one who actually, he supported the laughter movement in Germany from its beginning, late 90s. He gave a lot of money to this movement. And for years, he built up his laughter museum and humor museum in Wiesbaden, Germany, where he was doing different exhibitions related with humor and art and mocking the society, a little mocking the authorities. He was actually making jokes on 45 companies like Lufthansa, and was sued by all these companies and always won the case in the court. he had this sticker, Lufthansa, about Lufthansa. So Michael Berger, this guy, he hosted my first workshop. He loved the idea of gibberish. So I gave there my first workshop outside of Israel. It was April 2009, my first workshop in Germany. And 5 years back, when I was in Frankfurt, I decided to go and visit him. I spent a night in his place. And he said that he's getting old and he thinks to close the museum quite soon because now he's 76 and blah, blah. And he wanted just to give me a few items from his museum. And then he gave me this banana. Now, what is the idea of the banana? As we know, in the skin of the banana, we have a lot of serotonin. Of course, much less than in the when we do the breathing exercise. We make it ourselves. Here we have to eat the skin. So the banana is the symbol of serotonin. We know that serotonin is associated with laughter and smiling. So when we smile, we have the shape of the banana. This is one thing. Okay, that's why banana is always related with have a good day. Serotonin, be happy, and sometimes they put some symbols of banana. Banana is a smile, is a smiling shape. But also, Michael Berger was laughing on the people who are very serious and going every day with this laptop, mizvada, the suitcase, and they look very serious in the train, with powers on the metzach here, very serious, very reserved. So we made a banana, which is related with laughter, with a handle. So people, instead of going with this black suitcase made out of leather, they will go with the banana and sit in the train among the people who are very serious and sit with that suitcase, that bag. And then they create some laughter. They will make the people in the train laugh, or the people in the street, because it's strange why you're going with this banana and hold it. And you can go with it, be very serious. You can go with the suit. So that's the idea of laughing on the concept that people are today, because they need to perform well, because they need to work. They became very serious and less playful. So he was mocking this thing with the banana. That's why I sometimes I go with it while I travel in the train. So people a little bit look at me, and this can create a connection between two people. What is this? What is this banana? Why you're holding? Now you can laugh together.
Yeah.
Because it's strange.
It's like breaking patterns, expected patterns.
Breaking expected patterns. Yeah. And it's all about serotonin. To smile, and and it's very I'm having it for 5-6 years, and sometimes I really, I want to go with it. But most of the people, they don't pay attention because they're too much into their own fears and how to say in English, hatirdot shel hayom, the daily botherings. So they even don't look. But if somebody, what is this banana? Sometimes, what is this banana? It's nice, huh? Why? What you do with somebody asked me, does it a real banana? Because they cannot see it's a plastic one.
What is real? Good question. Well, is there anything else that you would like to say, Alex, that you haven't said so far? So anyway, I think now I really understand what is the essence of happiness, and also the idea of not that laughter by itself, because I come from laughter yoga, laughter by itself doesn't lead to happiness. I want to say it out loud, because people really come to me because they think that I will cure them with laughter. I will make them laugh. And then they will be happier. And it doesn't work. I don't know why, but it doesn't work. It's because you really need to touch consciously your pain, to touch consciously your discomfort, to touch consciously your sadness, your whatever you have,
and make friendship with the enemy. And when you do that, you are very happy. And also the faculty of, hey, why we need to be so panicked before the depression? Let's be there consciously. Then it will disappear. Yeah, so I really now understand that happiness is all about being in surrendering in the land of Canaan instead of land of survival, fighting, being tzadkan, righteous, being too much righteous in life. You know, it's restrictions, it's engagement. And yeah, I moved from working with laughter or techniques which provoke laughter to something more holistic, which is happiness. Yes, and as Viktor Frankl once said, I think it was Frankl, happiness cannot be pursued; it must ensue. It must be a byproduct of something.
Quite right. Yeah.
And always see what is your mission in life. What is your unique mission in life in order to also feel self-contained or happy, and stick to it. Also, if it doesn't bring you now enough money. Also, if it doesn't bring you money, go for it, because your heart will be open. You're happier. If you do something with a shrunk heart, there is a big price to pay. And that's, you see, the paradoxical attitude, because it's so different from the normal one, from the, I have to say, the conformist one. Make money, do something which brings you more money, bring 3-4 children, marry and stay with this wife 40 years, and watch the television and read politics. That's but then you see what's the price. Those people are getting cancer, Parkinson, Alzheimer, suffering. And we go like a herd, like most of those people. But now, post-corona time, post-COVID, now we understand that, COVID was a great thing to pop up. All the anxieties on the surface, you know what COVID did? People got all these anxieties on the surface. That's why we have much more emotional disorders now. Before COVID, less emotional, now much more. But now we can play with it. It came out now, see, embrace it, play with it, be playful about it. And then it will disappear. If you are serious about it, it will stay.
Yeah.
So everything we should contradict. It's all about now contradiction, the old belief system which has not served ourselves, which harmed us. Let's do opposite, vice versa. If it's not working, we always can go back to the old world. But let's try now the new world. The new understanding that we can be the masters of our emotional system, immune system. We can have health and strength at our willful control. We can also decide with our mind, we have a bacteria, we don't want this bacteria, maybe we take 1 pill of antibiotics, and then we let the body to heal. We need to boost up the body, the wisdom of body, the capacity to heal things, not to be, driven by authorities.
Yeah.
And we're very small and squeezed, and capacitated, and they know big, we give the power to someone instead of taking it back to ourselves. That's a paradoxical attitude to take the power to ourselves. That's why I say paradoxical. It's to contradict what doesn't work out.
Mr. Bloom, do you have anything to add?
Of course.
In de Brücke voor de wasje wat je straks verder bij preoccupeer de coronavirus, de pandemie,
That's what I wanted to add, Mr. Simkin.
If te schoens kapo. Achte puf snechte dudjum, but rupefe stestisa umfasa.
Not a food video paradoxin.
Schönschke.
Sure, video focus.
It was a pleasure talking to you guys.
Enjoy the joy, the two Michaels.
Thank you.
With joy, enjoy.
Enjoy. Wakapum. Vela.